Good day, everyone. My name is Janae Carey, and I will be presenting to you Measuring the Impact of an Alternative Approach to School Bullying by Domino. Now, before we dive into our article, I want to talk a little bit about experimental research, which was conducted in this article, and the focus for this week. Experimental research is when a researcher um, manipulates at least one independent variable. It controls a relevant variable and observes the effect of one or more dependent variables. An independent variable, also known as experimental variable, cause or treatment, is the process or activity believed to make a difference in performance. A dependent variable is also called a criterion variable, post-test, or effect. The outcome of the study measures the change or difference resulting from manipulating the independent variable. Experimental research is the most structured of all research types, and when conducted well, experimental research can produce sound evidence concerning the cause-effect relation. Experimental research has a lot of the same steps as other research types. So you select a problem, you select your participants, and you have a measuring instrument. For our study, we had a survey, preparing a research plan, executing procedures, analyzing the data, and coming up with a conclusion from it. Um, experimental research is guided by at least one hypothesis that states the expected causal relation between the two variables. In our research, in experimental research, there are different type of group designs, and for our study today, we had a single variable research study with a pre-experimental called pre-test, post-test control group, which required two groups, each formed by a random assignment. So let's dive into our information. Okay, awesome. Again, measuring the importance of an alternative approach to school bullying. Now, before we start, I thought I'd just open up with a little bit of humor, and let's get down to business. Bullying is currently the leading form of school violence. Its pervasive and destructive effects persist in adulthood. 40% of middle school students are involved in bullying at least once a week, whether they're the victim, the bully, or both. Students aged 8 to 5 rank bullying as one of the most pressuring issues they face. Middle school requires more attention as it represents the highest rates of physical bullying among boys, relational among girls, and cyberbullying across both sexes. 3 decades of research about bullying has provided us with some information. It has provided us with the size and the scope of bullying, precursors to bullying and victim behavior, and the range associated with the physical, emotional, and psychological issues. Research has defined bullying as intentional, repeated acts of cruelty characterized by the imbalance of power between the perpetuator, the bully, and the target, the victim. Cruelty involves physical, social, and/or psychological. Meta-analysis of the effectiveness of conventional anti-bullying interventions has had a lot of mixed reviews, but overall, a small reduction to bullying behavior has taken place. Recent research has examined the impact of theory-driven models that address the social support that influence youth behaviors and school climate. And these models show reduction in school bullying exceeding 50%. Pioneer Dan Oley has provided a model for reducing bullying that utilized the whole school climate. So he took family, he took school, and he took community and made everyone act as a reciprocal partner in the reduction of bullying. Oley's bullying prevention program has demonstrated nationwide reducing in school bullying, in Norway particularly, that has not been achieved with those conventional anti-bullying models. Programs such as his have moved prevention and intervention research forward by identifying theory-driven constructs. However, limited participation of the results are available, especially in the United States. Anti-bullying programs should utilize a combination of theory-driven approaches with multiple touch points and employ varying modalities to reduce negative outcome. There is a small number of research conducted on the middle school environment. Therefore, our article examined the impact of SEL and PYD on 7th grade students, which I will further explain what SEL and PYD means. Take the Lead TTL is a middle school curriculum designed to increase social competencies of the participants. Lack of social competencies have been associated with bullying behaviors across continents, sexes, and ages. An important component in the evaluation of TTL was the assessment of the application of social competencies like bullying. Now, SEL, social emotional learning, reflects a theoretical shift from emphasis. It reflects a theoretical shift in emphasis from deficit-based to strength-based behavioral change. Works are grounded in emotional intelligence by Mayer and Savoys, and theories of emotional and social intelligence by Daniel Goleman. Competencies in SEL include self-awareness, social awareness, self-management, relationship skills, and decision-making. A meta-analysis involving 270,000 students K through 12 revealed that the acquisition of these social and emotional competencies were linked to improvement in interpersonal relationships, conduct problems, social skills, emotional distress, substance abuse, and aggression. Factors of success in these programs were the development and application of these pro-social skills and strong social support. Positive Youth Development, the PYD, is an example of SEL, designed to promote healthy outcomes by strengthening social and emotional competencies. PYD achieved this by developing and applying individual and group skills such as communication, team building, problem solving, and leadership. A meta-analysis of 25 PYD programs showed significant positive change among intervention groups as compared to control groups. Intervention include interpersonal skills, peer and adult relationships, self-control, and problem solving. Researchers also found significant reduction in negative risk behaviors such as drug use, aggression, truancy, and sexual risk-taking behavior. 3 essential elements on PYD construct exhibited positive behaviors such as emotional competency, self-efficacy, and developing pro-social norms. Research supports the application of SEL and PYD. The youth involved in these programs experienced significant gains in positive health, indicating a natural application to bullying prevention programs grounded in these constructs. Therefore, TTL provides a model combining the SEL and the PYD. Although research on these programs are in its early stages, the effect in youth behaviors has been positive and promising. So let's get into our TTL program. It is a 16-week lesson curriculum grounded in SEL and PYD theories. TTL is designed to increase social competency and social skills such as self-awareness, self-management, and social awareness, relationship skills, decision-making, problem-solving, and leadership. And it's developed by health promotion specialists. It was designed to be taught during a 45-minute class period once a week by teachers who are trained in TTL. Each session includes knowledge, skill, and an application component. An educational workshop was offered to the parents along with an informational letter comprised of ongoing lessons and goals in the TTL program. For the purpose of this study, TTL was referred to as an intervention as it was meant to assess the impact of bullying behavior change from the pre-test to the post-test. A quantitative a quantitative pre-test post-test control group cohort study design was used to measure the change in bullying and victim behavior. Step one was to select a study population able and willing to meet the criteria, which included commitment to the full-scale implementation of TTL, approval for grade level operation, and commitment to faculty and admin training. Four public schools near the research site were invited to participate. One school met all the criteria, and three schools met one or none of the criteria. Our independent variable was a participation in the 16-week TTL intervention, and our dependent variable was bullying and victimization. TTL intervention was measured by participation, and teachers kept attendance and asked students who missed more than 3 sessions not to participate in the post-test. Bullying and victimization were measured by the PRQ, which was a 12-item self-report survey used cross-nationally to assess bullying and victimization. Our participants were 7th grade students in a suburban Connecticut middle school with approved parental consent. They were predominantly white, 93%. 1% was African American, 2% were Hispanic, and 3% were Asian. 32 classrooms with a population of 336 students. Students were randomly assigned a 45-minute session workshop in either the fall of 2009 or the spring of 2010. Those who were selected in spring 2010 acted as controls for the fall 2009 since students and teachers had not been educated or trained in TTL. Before and after completion of each intervention, each student completed the PRQ survey, which took approximately 15 minutes. Questions were coded, clear of abnormalities, and missing data. The PRQ is a 12-item 4-point Likert scale survey designed to measure the frequency and array of bullying and victimization. Bullying was measured by relational harm perpetuated by an individual or group to another, which was our victim. Victimization was measured as the target or repeated of intentional harm. The PRQ has subscales for bullying and victimization, including physical, verbal, and relational. The PRQ demonstrated moderate to strong reliability, validity, and internal consistency. The sum of the dependent variable was compared from the pre-test to the post-test for control and intervention cohorts. The mean and standard deviation was calculated. An ANOVA was used to measure the differences in bullying and victimization. A post hoc test was conducted to examine the differences in the mean within the interaction. Variance was conducted to examine differences in assessment points. Bonferroni post hoc test was used to pinpoint specifically the mean differences in interaction, and the NCOVA was used to measure the impact of sex on outcome variable. And these are our results. Our independent variable had a 96% success rate. So 323 students of the 336 completed our survey in our complete 16-week intervention group. Average age was 12.2 years. It was predominantly white, and it was equally distributed between sexes. So there were a little bit more females, but mostly equally distributed. Fall 2009 intervention group consisted of 160 students, 87 girls and 73 boys, and our control group were 163 students with 84 girls and 79 boys. And remember that the control group for fall 2009 became the intervention group for spring 2010. The sum of the scores for bullying behaviors were similar among pre-test intervention and the control group. So the first intervention group and the first control group, when they took the test, the scores were about the same. The intervention between pre-test and post-test, bullying scores dropped from 1.15 to 0.68, while the control group increased to 1.92. Students in intervention significantly dropped self-reported bullying, while control group reported an increase during that same period. Spring 2010, control group turned to the intervention group, and ANOVA measured 3 assessment points that revealed significant bullying reduction. So from assessment 1 to 2, which was while they were a control group, to while they were the beginning of the control group to the end of being the control group, there was an increase in bullying. And when they became the intervention group and the end of their intervention group, there showed significant reduction. The results among bullying with girls versus boys remained significant after controlling for sex, and this is for the first intervention group, fall of 2009. Boys went from some scores of 1.58 to 0.88, and girls went from 0.84 to 0.52. Victimization also for the first intervention group, the fall 2009. Pretest revealed intervention group means of 2.58 was higher than the control group, 1.41. However, through the intervention, we see that their scores decrease. The scores from pre-test to post-test in the intervention group went from 2.48 to 1.26, while the control group actually increased from 1.41 to 2.25. However, when the control group began their intervention, decrease showed in the girls and the boys and in victimization. Victimization was significantly reduced among boys and girls that went from 2.55 to 1.35, and in the girls it went from 2.41 to 1.18. So what did we learn from this study? Our current research supports the application of PYD and SEL to school bullying, though it was limited by design. Significant reduction in self-reported bullying and victimization coincided with participation in the program. Finding support to shift to strength-based programming may be meaningful than these traditional deficit-based programs. TTL's focus on improving social skills in and out of the classroom provided opportunity for application of positive social behaviors throughout the semester intervention. The acquisition of these skills in TTL could mitigate bullying behavior. These studies raise questions for future research and the expansion of TTL. Although the deterioration of social skills are supported by research, we need to determine if these behaviors are amenable to sustainable change. These behaviors are naturally occurring, therefore posing the question, how should future prevention and interaction promote maximum reduction to negative behavior still exist? Further consideration includes school selection, faculty training, administrative and parental support to these programs' impact. Also, finding a school that meets all the criteria for the participation was very challenging. So further examination is always needed to pinpoint specific. Our limitation included a small and homogeneous sample size, which limited our generalization. The lack of comparison group from a separate but comparable group increases contamination, and it lacked internal consistency. Short-term study design limits knowledge and sustainability, and a long-term impact. Self-report relies on honesty and comprehension, which can hinder reliability. Students may have skewed results answering what was desirable. Instrumentation limited the precision, clarity, and standardization results. The PRQ did not identify all types of bullying. It was vague in its instrumentation and the number of bullying episodes. Therefore, the study reinforces the importance of examining alternative bullying methods. Further studies should include a large, diverse population with adequate comparison group, and a more long-term study with more than one indicator for bullying behavior. Implications for school health. Because bullying remains high, intervention initiatives must remain a priority. Developing social competencies are adapted by the teacher as a way to reduce bullying. Let's make thorough and collaborative focus to develop those pro-social skills among all students that will help reduce this bullying. And school professional, let's continue to read up on existing education about bullying to promote awareness and alternative to bullying. This is the conclusion of my presentation, and this part is optional. This was a video that I saw on VH1 talking about bullying and how it continues to persist in adulthood. There are children who are being teased at a young age, and they're talking about when they own their companies that they're going to take it out on their workers. So I want you guys to enjoy the video and have a great day.
First I was afraid, I was petrified. They flushed my head several times, exposing my behind. But then I spent so many nights working on my grand revenge. I'll be your boss, I'm gonna make you be my slave. For my power, I will abuse. I'll be the CEO, you'll be the one who shines my shoes. I'm gonna call you night and day, and on weekends I'll send texts, ask you for all kinds of things, making sure you'll never rest. You'll never get a single raise. You'll get the same pay till the end of your unhappy days. And behind a tiny desk, you'll be saying your regrets. You'll be my pet. You'll be my pet. Yeah, yeah.